I just want to ask a final question, particularly of you, Liam, but also of you, John. The man marking of Eden Hazard by Herrera at Old Trafford was, I felt, very badly handled by Hazard and by Conte, his coach, because it was predictable. They tried to do it at Stamford Bridge to Hazard, same, but Herrera got sent off. But they must have known this was coming, and I didn't think they managed it very well at all. And there's two questions. One, does this reflect on Conte in some way, that after 10 or 15 minutes, or maybe even before the game, he said, look, if this happens, we do this? And also, coming from Italy, Conte would know about that man-marking thing, would he not? And how much of that did you experience in Italy? So can you answer those 10 questions in the next 4
Well, he
minutes?
definitely would. Well, I'll try very quickly. I mean, he definitely would have known about it, Conte, because Conte was a man marker himself. That's what he used to do. That's the job he used to be given by Trapattoni and by other coaches. Go and mark the most creative player in the opposition. So he would have known about that. Yes, he should have said to Hazard, look, if he starts again. I have to say, I thought the referee was very lenient with Herrera at Old Trafford. He fouled, and he got away with it. And the referee got a big decision wrong for Man United's first goal.
Yeah.
But we won't go into that now. Hazard should have taken him out to the wing, because he can play on the wing, he can play wide, and given Manchester United something to think about. When I was playing at Arsenal, in the last couple of years I was there, I used to get man-for-man mark, and I would say to Graham Ricks, I'm bringing this fella over to the left-hand side. I'll play outside, on the outside of midfield for a while, and you go inside. So you have to do things like that, and I experienced it in Italy as well. And one of the ways to get around it is to take them into an area where they don't really want to go. Either go very deep or go out onto the wing. But Hazard, I agree, Eamon, didn't really do his stuff, and Conte didn't do it in a tactical way to help Chelsea last weekend.
And that's quite a big thing, John, isn't it? Especially given the background there Liam gave us about Conte himself being in and coming from Italy. Now, I'm puzzled by the fact that he didn't A, anticipate it, and B, have a way such as Liam suggested, and that wide would have been my preference too.
Yeah. Well, as you know, I've spoke about it wouldn't be my preference, but we won't go into that. But I think he should have done one or the other. One of the simplest things to do was to get him at one wing or the other. Yeah. That was the most obvious thing to do. I have my own theory, but I won't go into that now.
No, I heard it on News Talk in your interview with Ger Gilroy, and it's not suitable unless you have visual aids.
Well, it's very difficult to explain it, but anyway, we won't go into that.
Give us a laugh then and try to explain it to Liam.
Well, Liam mentioned there that you either go wide or you go deep. My preference in my time playing, I was man-marked a lot, was to go deep, right? Go behind the ball. So the fella that, if he's man-marking you, if I'm back past the ball and he comes to mark me, he's on the wrong side of the ball. So you run around the side of him. Yeah. The second thing I used to do was, I was playing with Billy Bremer and good players. Billy would hold the ball, and if the fella was marking me, I would run around the back of Billy Bremer. Yeah. Right? And if the fella follows me, he comes out the other side behind me. Yeah. So you're giving him a choice. If you do that, it's the worst choice, right? Or the other thing is, I buy 10 or 12 yards, right, which is plenty to go and distribute the ball from there. Yeah. That what I found was the best way to get rid of the man-to-man marker. The second way of doing it is to, wherever the ball is, go and chase after it. Right? Yeah. You know, in Hazard's case, say the left back has it, because if you're chasing after it, the fella that's marking you won't do that. Right. You know what I mean? He will. No, not when you're chasing the ball. He won't. He won't. No. It doesn't happen, Eamon, because they have possession of the ball. Right. Right. So if you make a dart to the left back, he won't. The only time they really come into play is when you get the ball. Right. Now, so if you work at it like that, but the second point that you're making, Conte was, Liam says, was a man marker himself, They had prior warning.
Yep.
The match at Stamford Bridge a couple of months ago,
Yep.
that's what they tried to do anyway. So I think there should have been preparation made during the week to say, if Ferreira does the same thing, I want you to go on the left wing or the right wing, or come deep, whatever it would take, rather than doing nothing and being totally unprepared. I thought it was very unprofessional and surprisingly surprised by Conte not having some answer to the particular situation that we're in.
And raises the first question, I suppose, serious question we've had to ask about his competence, because he's been hugely and rightly praised, in my view, for what he did with a squad that Mourinho had failed with. Now, by the way, Liam, in passing, what did you think of John's explanation there?
Yeah, I understood it. Perhaps you didn't, Eamon, but I did.
Well,
I would have thought that a player of your ability in the what was the second division then would have been man marked also.
I was. I was.
Well, there you go. Did you not understand what? Did you not understand what the
I did,
the senior analyst was saying?
I did understand it up to the point where he was running around behind Billy Bremner's back. Going deep, I understood.
You don't understand that, Eamon?
Well, I do kind of understand it, but I'd need visual aids.
Well, it's very simple. If you can picture yourself on the pitch, say I'm playing with Liam, for example, or you're playing with Liam, and there's somebody man marking me, right? And I'm a little bit behind Liam. Right. So the fella has to come level with the ball, for example. Right. Now I can nip around the back of him. If he wants to man mark me and I run around the back of Liam and he's following me, when I come round the other side of Liam, he's behind me.
Got a little bit of a start. We didn't work that out at Millwall, so I think we move on before we.
He doesn't understand it, Liam.
Before we lose,
we'll move on.
Before we lose some more listeners. And